If you have been having difficulty staying motivated and you want to turn that around and get to a point where you are always motivated, watch this video till the end. I will recommend a procedure through which you can establish a better relationship to the activities you do in your daily life, and to your dopamine system. This procedure is going to help you fine-tune your central nervous system and your dopamine system for consistent hard work, discipline, and motivation. It can be very hard to do hard work. Most people in the world today hate working hard. Some people do, but their reason for working hard is to attain an end goal. End goals are great and rewards are great, irrespective of whether they are monetary, social, or any kind. However, because of the correlation between dopamine and the way we perceive time, working hard with the goal of achieving a result that comes afterwards can result in the work becoming way more difficult and tasking, reducing our willingness to work hard in the future. I will provide you with some examples supported by research, science, and experiment. In one of the famous experiments done at Stanford University several years ago, small children drew pictures because they enjoyed drawing pictures. The kids that liked to draw were rewarded by the researchers for drawing. These rewards were usually gold stars or other items that little kids find rewarding. After a while, the researchers stopped giving them rewards, and the result was that the children had a much lower tendency to draw on their own. There was no longer reward. Now, don't forget that drawing was something that the kids enjoyed doing before receiving any rewards. They did it of their own free will, without even being told to do it. This scenario brings to mind intrinsic versus extrinsic reinforcement. When we are rewarded for something, even if we are the ones rewarding ourselves, there is the tendency to associate less pleasure with the activity that induced the reward. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but this is just the way that the dopamine circuits operate. An understanding of the highs and lows in dopamine, which I won't review again, should make things clearer. When you get a spike in dopamine as a result of something you did, this will result in a drop in your baseline, and your mind will interpret this as you not really doing the activity because you enjoy it, but because you wanted the reward. This is not to say that every kind of reward is bad, but we must understand that our perception of time is shaped by dopamine. The level of dopamine we experience determines how we construct our experience of time. When we engage in activities, say sports, work, school, or whatever form of hard work because of the reward we are going to get at the end, which may be a meal, a trophy, or whatever it is, what we are unknowingly doing is enlarging the time frame within which we are analyzing and perceiving the experience. And since the reward is gotten at the end of the activity, what happens is that we begin to separate the neural circuits for dopamine and reward that would have otherwise been active during the activity. And because the reward is gotten at the end, over time the pleasure and satisfaction we get from doing the activity gradually declines while we perform the activity. Now, this is the exact opposite of growth mindset. Growth mindset is a concept that was created by a professor at Stanford University. It is based on the principle of continuously aiming to get better. The mindset of someone applying this principle is the acknowledgement that they have not yet reached the finish line, but striving is the end goal. And that results in significant achievement over time, because it has been observed that people who adopt the growth mindset perform tremendously well, because their focus is on the effort rather than the reward. Growth mindset is something that can be adopted and cultivated by all of us. The neural mechanisms required for cultivating growth mindset has to do with learning to access the reward from effort and doing, which can be really difficult to do, because it requires us to make use of the prefrontal segment of the mesolimbic pathway. You have to actively talk to yourself. You have to consciously tell yourself that the effort is worth it. You have to tell yourself that you are deriving massive amounts of pleasure from the activity, and that the activity is great, even if you are feeling tremendous pain from the activity. For example, when I started working out in high school, I wanted to get out of bed every morning, and I had to keep forcing myself time and time again even if I did not feel like exercising. What you'll start to notice is that over time you can start to associate dopamine release. You can stimulate the release of dopamine from the struggle and challenge that you are facing when you perform the activity. But if your focus is solely on the reward that comes at the end, you will end up completely damaging your ability to produce the rewarding process of being able to reward friction while in the process of performing the activity if your focus is on the reward that you get at the end, because of the way the time is shaped by dopamine. So for example, if you say you will perform a difficult task, and you say you will keep on putting in effort for a reward that comes later, you will not only reduce the satisfaction you derive from performing the activity, you will also make it more difficult and stressful, and you will be making yourself less effective at it. Because if you were able to access dopamine while performing the activity, you will notice that dopamine has tremendous benefits such as significantly raising the level of energy in our mind and body, and increasing our ability to focus by the conversion of dopamine to adrenaline. Also, if you keep focusing on the end reward, you are drastically weakening your ability to perform the activity next time. Next time you might need 5 times more energy drinks, 6 times more coffee, or louder music, or more phone calls from friends, just to get out of bed and put in work. So the most beneficial things which could significantly enhance every activity you perform, especially difficult activities, are 1. Avoid using external sources of dopamine to get you started on any activity, but rather to subjectively start to attach the difficult and stressful feelings you get when you perform an activity to your internally generated reward system. This is a system that has existed in the human mind for thousands of years, and it exists in your mind. It is a system that enables you to not just chase after things that give you pleasure such as watching television, eating food, having sex, and so on, but this system includes the forebrain, making it possible for you to tell yourself that the effort part is the good and rewarding part regardless of how much pain you feel. It enables you focus on the effort, and as you continue to repeat this process time and time again, you will find the reward in the effort you put into whatever activity you are performing. And the best part of all this is that it begins to become automatic for whatever form of effort you put in. When you focus only on the goal, only on the trophy as a reward, you weaken that entire process. So how do you do this? You do this when you experience the most difficulty, in the moment of the most intense friction. In these moments, you tell yourself this is very difficult and challenging, and because it is very difficult and challenging, it will result in an increase in the release of dopamine later. But you also have to tell yourself that your main reason for doing the activity is because you really want to do it, and because you love it. I know this might sound like lying to yourself, and in a sense you are lying to yourself, but lying within the context of a truth which is that you want it to feel better, you want it to feel pleasurable. This mindset is much different from thinking about the reward that comes at the end. We respect people who are able to adopt this mindset. Some prominent examples of people who have been able to adopt this mindset in this day and age are Jocko Willink and David Goggins, 2 former Navy SEALs. Throughout history, some of the most venerated and admired people have been those who possess this mindset. The ability to access this pleasure from effort aspect of our dopamine circuitry is definitely the most powerful aspect of dopamine in our biology of dopamine, and this ability is available to all of us. That's it for this video. Leave a comment and let me know what you think about the topic, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.